Sometimes you don't just want a good book, you want the right book. A book that feels like it read you. A book that somehow knew exactly what you were currently going through, down to your oddly specific scenario. If you're going through it right now, whether that's a heartbreak, an identity crisis, or maybe you're just feeling burnt out, I want you to know that 1, you're not alone, and 2, I have the perfect book recommendations for you. Today, I'm letting a jar full of oddly specific emotional scenarios pick out which books I recommend to you again. If you were here for my last video, you already know that we use the recommendation panda instead of this ugly jar, because look at the difference. Like, obviously we have to choose him, he's so cute. So let me switch the recommendations over and let's start. Shake it up, shake it up. Oh! Our lucky first one. You have a toxic relationship with a parent that makes you feel like love is always conditional. You also struggle with trust, and you're always questioning whether if he wanted to, he would is even real. If this sounds just like your life, you need to read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This book is in the Part of Your World series, but it's a standalone, so you can read it out of order. In this book, Justin and Emma both think that they have a curse where after they date someone, that person goes on to find their soulmate. So they feel like they're not able to connect with anyone because they know that that person's gonna break up with them and eventually find the person that ends up being the love of their life. One day, Justin posts about this problem on a Reddit forum, and Emma ends up stumbling across this post and reaching out to him. They spark up conversation and really like each other, so they end up devising a plan where they should both date each other for the summer, so that whenever they break up with each other, in theory, they should be able to find their soulmates. But obviously, things get complicated and they fall in love along the way. This book is so cute. But this isn't just a cute, funny, silly romance story. This book is about breaking cycles, learning how to trust again, and understanding that love isn't unstable. It's reliable, and when someone really loves you, they show up for you. This book is so healing, so cute, so wholesome, and the banter's great. Abby Jimenez is such a talented author, and she's slowly becoming one of my favorites, maybe even my favorite, because I've only read 2 of her books, but I've given them both 5 stars. I would absolutely recommend this book. Next one. You're burnt out from reading about the same cocky, loud, alpha male love interest. You long for a love that's quiet, intentional, and special. You feel like you're inexperienced, and because of this inexperience, you feel like you won't be able to find someone who can meet you where you're at. I promise you that's not the case, but if you feel like I just read your diary, you should definitely read Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I gave this book a 5 stars because it's so freaking wholesome and sweet. Bree is looking for a change, so she moves to a small town where she runs into this mysterious, quiet, reclusive man named Archer. She feels like she needs to know more about him, so she slowly starts inching her way into his life. They end up falling in love, but they heal each other in ways they didn't even realize they needed. This book is so adorable, and like the prompt stated, this man is like no other. I have yet to read a book that has such sweet, soft, gentle love. So if that's something that you're looking for, I definitely recommend that you pick up this book. Next one. I don't know why I'm bouncing them out, but it's fun. You're absolutely sick of disgusting men getting away with crimes against women. You want to see real consequences, even if it means crossing a few moral lines. You're ready to root for a woman who's taking matters into her own hands, because if the system won't bring justice, she will. If you're ready to read about a book that has you supporting women's rights and women's wrongs, you need to read They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. I rated this book a 4 stars. Scarlett is an English professor at a university, and she kills men that she deems the worst on campus. She's incredibly meticulous about her planning and murders, but as the number of deaths continue to escalate, the campus begins to get suspicious. So will she be able to get away with being a serial killer, or will she get caught? Read this book to find out. Next one. That will never get old. You're angry at the world, but you don't know how to process it without going numb. You want something real that punches you in the chest, makes your heart bleed, and makes you care about the world and the people around you even more. If this sounds relatable, you should read The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I read this book in like 2020, but I rated it a 5 stars. Star is a young girl who feels like she moves between 2 worlds: the poor neighborhood where she lives and a fancy prep school where she attends class. One day, her best friend Khalil, who is literally unarmed, is shot and killed by a police officer in her neighborhood. This book explores systematic injustice, family, activism, and finding your voice in a world that's trying to drown it out. It's so painful. I cried many times, but it's so powerful and important. I would encourage everybody to read this book. Next one. You want to read about messy fairy politics, a badass FMC, and an enemies to lovers romance that makes you question your own standards. You're craving drama, betrayal, and morally questionable choices, all wrapped up in a magical world where no one plays fair. If this sounds right up your alley, you need to read the Folk of Air series by Holly Black. I rated the series a 4 stars. It's so good. The series is comprised of The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing, and all of those books got a 4 star for me. Jude is 7 when a man breaks into her house and kills her parents, and then takes her and her 2 siblings to live in a magical place called Fairyland. Jude spends her entire childhood growing up around fairies, but they do not treat her as one of them. In Fairyland, humans are regarded as lesser than because they don't have any magical abilities. And she's especially disrespected by Prince Carden. Jude has to play smart to earn a spot on the royal court and keep her family and her friends safe. But how far is she willing to go, and what might happen along the way, especially with Carden? Read this book to find out. Next one. You're feeling stuck in your everyday routine and you want to escape into a world that's dangerous and thrilling with life or death stakes, action, and a slow burn romance that has you giggling and kicking your feet for a fictional man who's dark, powerful, and secretly soft for only you. If this got you excited to read again, you need to pick up Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I rated this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love Fourth Wing. The MMC, he's just so good. If you watched my character AI video, then you already know how much I like him because I was literally giddy at the robot version of him, but oh my god, the book version of him is unbeatable. Violet Soaringale is supposed to be a scribe at Basgiath War College, but the commanding general, aka her mom, orders her to become part of the Riders Quadrant. So she must compete and train with the most elite of Navarre in order to become a dragon rider. But along the way, she's met with so many life or death experiences. So not only is she trying to stay alive, she's also trying to avoid catching feelings from her wing leader, Xaden. And honestly, once you read their banter, I understand why she had such a hard time. I do understand it. So if you want to be giggling, kicking your feet, and literally clutching your pearls at how high stakes this book is, you should definitely read Fourth Wing. Next book. You and your ex just broke up, but instead of giving you closure, they immediately get with their girl best friend, the one they told you not to worry about. You're pretending you're fine, but deep down you're spiraling, and you can't help but wonder if a steady, stable love even exists. If you often proclaim that you're fine after a breakup when you're obviously not, you should definitely read Funny Story by Emily Henry. Daphne and Miles are opposites, but they both relate on one thing. Both of their exes broke up with them to get with each other. So Daphne has very few choices, and she ends up moving in with Miles because she needs a place to live. But obviously, they start spending a lot of time together and they eventually fall in love. This book does it for me. Specifically because of Miles. I've already raved about him in so many videos that I've posted on here, but Miles is one of my favorite male main characters ever. I love him. He's so acts of service, he's so cute, and he genuinely just seems like a good person. Daphne's cute too, but there's just something about Miles. I love him. So if you're ready to get a new book boyfriend, go ahead and read this book. Next one. You grew up watching 2000s rom-com movies and they've given you a hopeless romantic worldview. Some people tell you your standards are too high, but you want a friends to lovers, boy next door, golden retriever soulmate, and you're not going to settle for less. If this describes you perfectly, you need to read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Liz is a hopeless romantic who's obsessed with the idea of having her long-term crush Michael finally notice her. She even befriends her annoying neighbor Wes to help her with her plan. But as you can imagine, after spending so much time with Wes, she starts to think that maybe they have something going on between them, and he might have some feelings about her that he's not fully opening up about. This book is so freaking adorable. I don't love a YA book, but Lynn Painter does them so well. Well, I'm hyping her up, but I've only read 2 of her books, but both of them I've given 4 stars. They are so cute, especially Better Than the Movies, and if that prompt sounded accurate to you, you should most definitely pick it up. Okay, we have 2 left. You've been feeling numb lately, like you haven't cried in months. You want to feel something again, even if it destroys you. Actually, especially if it destroys you. If you're in the mood to bawl your eyes out, you should read 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I read this book back in like 2021, but I rated it a 5 stars, and I literally cried until my face was beet red. I'm not joking. I'll put a picture on the screen. There were waterworks. Rune and Poppy are neighbors and childhood best friends, but when Rune goes out of the country on a trip, Poppy completely ghosts him, and he's so so confused about it. He ends up coming back to town and he's a completely new, like, bad boy. And although it throws Poppy off at first, they eventually do rekindle, but when Poppy reveals the real reason why she stopped talking to him, it's truly devastating. This book is a young adult, but make sure that you read the trigger warnings because there are some dark themes. And also make sure that you're ready to cry your eyes out. The final book. You're nostalgic for a love story that's both ridiculously dramatic and completely unserious. You want adventure, chaos, sword fights, and declarations of undying love. If you're in the mood for anything and everything, you should read The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I rated this book a 5 out of 5 stars. This story is iconic for a reason. It's witty, whimsical, funny, chaotic. It truly has everything. And it honestly reads like a bedtime story for adults, which is so fun. When I read this book, it was an easy 5 stars, and I definitely would recommend it to most people because I truly think there's something in there for everyone. The recommendation panda is officially empty, so this video is officially over. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know if any of these scenarios felt like a personal call out. And if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like, and if you like me, consider subscribing. I just hit 100 subscribers. That is so exciting, so thank you guys so much. I have a really fun baking video planned for 100 subscribers, so stick around to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye! Ew, that's so creepy. Bye.